Welcome to another episode of Inside Eastern Utah. I am your host, Scotty Draper, and I am here today with Katie and Emily. They are over the Castle Country Acting Company, and they're here to talk about a production that is coming up next week. So thank you so much for joining us today, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
And you have been working hard this summer for this production. Can you tell us a bit about what it is?
This year's production is The Pirates of Penzance. So we decided, it was kind of a last minute decision actually.
Very last
minute.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a rush to put together, but it's worked out pretty well and we're excited for it, and it's exciting.
Yes, how did you guys decide on this production this year?
Well, we were
drew names out of a hat and see what you get.
We were writing one, a different story, and it just wasn't coming together in time for us.
Our lives were just so busy, and we just didn't have time. So
this show is a favorite of mine. I did it in high school, and I've always kind of wanted to do it with the kids. I thought it would be super fun, so it's kind of all ready to go. So we decided to go with that this year, and then we'll see about further years.
Fantastic, because in past years, the productions have all been ones that you guys have written and directed and everything by yourselves.
Yeah.
So this year, though, it is a classic. Can you tell us a bit about the production for those that aren't familiar with it?
Okay, so it was written by Gilbert and Sullivan, I think in 1860-something, 69 maybe, I can't remember right now. And it's just a fun, whimsical farce kind of story about pirates and girls, and it's usually set in England in the mid-1800s, but we decided to move it to like the West Indies, so we'll have
more
like
tropical setting.
Setting for it, with a beach scene, and it'll be fun. Yeah.
So after you guys decided on this production, what was your next step? Obviously, you had to host auditions. How many people do you have involved this year?
I think we had 40 initially try out. I think we've had a few drop off, so I think we've got about
34 now, 34 or 35 left.
And it's an operetta, so kids are singing. I mean, it's a pretty intense, it's an intense performance for sure. They're doing such a good job.
And what's the age range there for the kids?
Our youngest are 6, right, this year, and oldest this year is 17.
And are these mostly Carbon County youth?
All
Carbon
County.
County.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And honestly, I think the average, we only have a few teenagers, so the average age of performers is about 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
And talk a bit about what people can expect for our costumes and the set when they come, music, that kind of stuff.
We do black box theater, which so we don't have big sets or anything.
Okay.
The goal is that the kids run the backstage, so we always have an adult back there just to kind of keep an eye on things. But the kids are in charge of moving their sets and doing all that. So the set pieces are always fairly simple and easy for them to manipulate. And then we always have black boxes that they use, and they build them up to make them different things. And then as far as, it's a lot of music this year. It's
19 different songs. Yeah. Well, we just added 2 more yesterday, so we have 21 songs that the kids will be singing and performing.
And so
it's pretty intense.
Yeah, it is pretty intense, but they've really done a great job.
And I think it's fun that you involve them in the entire process. They don't just show up and do their parts, but they learn the backstage, they learn music, they learn all aspects of it. It's really involved in that way.
Yeah, we try to make it more like a school set, not school, that sounds like that would be their worst nightmare.
I know, don't say that to them, but really, they learn a lot.
It's supposed to be a learning experience, and so we have, for the first half or more than half, we have educational segments at the beginning where they learn about
different
theater design
theater.
and musical theater and character development and things like that. And then now we've moved on more in the intensive rehearsal process, but
Fantastic. And this is going to take place at the historic Rio Theater in Helper. Can you give us some of the specifics? When can people come out and watch?
So our show opens on Thursday the 9th at 6 o'clock this year. We've always done 6:30 in the past, but we changed it this year to 6. So it's 6 o'clock this year, and doors open at 5:30. There are going to be concessions for sale in the lobby always, and we will run the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 13th all at 6 o'clock. And then we also have a performance on the 18th at 1 o'clock.
Yes, and the doors open at 12:45 on that one.
Right,
So it's
yes.
so it's a matinee.
And that one's during the Arts Festival, so there will be a lot of, that is a fun one too, lots of stuff going on.
Come and
that
check
day.
out Main Street on Helper because it is a fun event.
Right.
And so do the concessions, all the proceeds from that just benefit the acting company and future productions?
They actually go to the Helper Library.
Oh, do
So,
they?
yeah,
Great.
the proceeds from the concessions, and they also collect donations. The Friends of the Library will be there selling concessions and
Oh,
collecting donations.
fantastic.
So it's a fundraiser for the library, and then, you know, people can also donate to us. We don't really keep a lot of, we don't really have a lot of expenses, but we always will take a little bit
Yes,
more to do a better,
of course.
better show next year.
Yes, and admission is free, so bring
Yes.
the whole family. They can come out. This is very family friendly. Everyone can come out, get something to eat. And how long can people expect to be there? How long is the production?
Probably in total, about an hour and a half.
Maybe 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
With
Not too long.
intermissions, plan on about 2 hours.
Yeah.
So, in addition to that, you guys, like I said, you guys have been involved in this for many years. Katie, you actually have been with it since the beginning, right? And can you kind of walk us through the progression of the acting company through these years? Take us a bit through the history.
Sure. When we first moved here, there really wasn't any theater for kids here. And I had grown up doing children's theater. And so I wanted my kids to have that experience as well. And so I worked with Amanda Pies, who was then the librarian at the Helper City Library, and we started this acting company together. And, you know, she kind of helped me get it going, and that's how it started out, as being a fundraiser for the library there. And so this is our 9th year now. We've just gotten kind of a little bit bigger every year. For the past few years, Emily's been helping me and has now kind of stepped into like co-director role.
Emily, how'd you get roped into that? Being Katie's friend by by default. You
Yeah,
got
my
roped in.
oldest, she joined when we first moved here. Katie invited my daughter to perform in, I think it was Alice in Wonderland. And it just kind of snowballed from there. I said, let me help, and just kind of been going at it since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And so you've been involved for a few years, and both of your kids, they're involved each year, right? Is it usually one production a year?
It has been, yeah. One production is a
lot?
of work. So, yeah.
For two busy moms, of course, is a big, big undertaking. So for this year, So for this year, when people come out for the Arts Festival, are there going to be other productions going in conjunction throughout that day that they can enjoy as well? Do you know?
They will have, I know they're going to show some film. I don't think they're going to have any other live performances, as far as I know.
This is the one to go to, the one
I think so, yeah.
fun live
and I could be
performance.
speaking incorrectly. Sorry, Arts Festival people, if I'm falsely advertising.
We're actually going to have them on next, so
Okay,
we'll
great.
clarify.
They had mentioned to me that they'd have some film, but they didn't say anything about a live show, so I don't know for sure. But
Fantastic. And can you talk a bit about the musical component to this? Are usually all of the productions you do musicals, or is it?
Well, I'm not a musical person. I'm not. I mean, I
She
can
says
play the
she's
piano
not.
a little
She can do
bit,
it.
but I'm not really. So, as far as me teaching the kids to sing and things like that, I never went into that before. But I love music, and I've always tried really hard to make music a part of the shows. The kids respond really well to music, and it helps them with their movement. It helps them to be excited about the show. So all of my shows have featured a lot of music. But up until Emily started working with me, I had never taken on like a full musical. And so last year was our first year working together as like co-directors. So we wrote that, and she wrote the music part, and we kind of put it together. And so that was our first musical that we'd done. And so this year is our second, and a little easier that we didn't have to write the music this year. But yeah, so music's really important for the kids. They really do a lot better if
It probably helps with memorization as
Yeah.
well, and like you said, excitement. It probably really helps with all of those things. And then for the costumes, how did that work? Are the kids involved in getting their costumes ready? And
Not so much.
No.
They're little.
you can only ask so
Yeah.
much, right?
Yeah.
Yes, making costumes is a big undertaking.
So do you two handle that mostly, or?
We have a friend, Mary Peacock, and Emily Anderson. They have been willing to help
this
us
year.
with costumes this year.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And the parents help. Some parents have volunteered to help. We've made a lot of them. Costumes are not my main focus, because with the kids you want the costumes to be simple. So we don't usually do elaborate costuming. We want it to be costumes that they can easily, because one of my goals is that they can learn how to take care of their own costume, hang it up, keep it in their spot, keep all their props together without having to have an adult come back and make sure that everything's the way it's supposed to be. So part of what I try to push really hard is that the kids can do all the aspects of it themselves. It helps them to have a sense of self-confidence and to feel like they can really take pride in what they've done, because a lot of it is their baby, kind of. They've done it. And so the costumes are usually fairly simple so that they can put them on by themselves, and even our little tiny ones are putting on their own costumes, hanging up their own costumes, taking care of their stuff backstage. So
Fantastic. I love how involved it is, and they're really involved from start to finish and really kind of self-sufficient with it. They're learning a lot, it seems like. So before we let you ladies go, is there anything else you want anyone to know about the production?
just that it's a lot of fun. Come prepared to have fun, and it's fun and funny and lighthearted, and it's a good one this year.
Yeah. Another thing, though, sometimes we have people come unaware of the fact that we don't mic our kids. We focus on projection, and so they are not mic'd. So if people have maybe some hearing issues, it doesn't hurt if they do come to sit up in the front. People are welcome to sit up front as close as they can to the stage. That way they can hear the kids. The kids are pretty loud. We teach them to be loud. But just come prepared that they will not have microphones.
I'm sure the parents love when they go home and are like, well, they taught me to be loud and talk very loud, Mom.
Right.
So no, it'll be great. So don't forget, it is August 9th, 10th, 11th, 13th, as well as the 18th during the Arts Festival. Those first 4 dates will be at 6 p.m. and then that last day is at 1 p.m. Admission is free, but bring a little bit of money for some concessions. It will benefit the Friends of the Helper Library. If you want more information, you can find it on our website. And you ladies also have a Facebook page as well,
We do.
right?
Castle Country Acting Company Facebook page, yes.
Great. So you can find all that information we just mentioned on there. And stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes with more. We're going to learn about this year's Helper Arts Festival.